Hello everyone, Beast here. I'm back with another video. Today, the video will be a little bit different. Like the title says, I'm going to talk about Terran and why I quit Terran and why a lot of other people are quitting Terran. So I wanted to make this video for a while now, for a couple of months, but I could never make it before because my main race was Terran, and every time I brought this up, whether it was on Reddit, on Twitter, on my stream, people be like, you're just balance whining, just learn how to play, which wasn't really the point of what I wanted to say, but I feel like in StarCraft 2 you can't really give your opinion about your race that it is something wrong with it because you're instantly biased, so you can't really have your opinion. So now that I haven't been playing Terran for about a month, you guys probably know on YouTube and on Twitch, I've been playing mostly Protoss, and I've been playing a lot of random. I haven't picked Terran to play specifically Terran for over a month actually. So I felt like maybe now people will, just hear me out and just kind of share their own opinion as well. So why did I quit Terran? There's a couple of reasons. I love playing mech. Now, mech is viable in TVZ and TVT. It is not viable in TVP at all. We've seen Blizzard attempt to buff mech for TVP. They've said it multiple times how they will, they will make a change and then they will adapt if that's not enough. But usually what happens is, for example, the Cyclone change goes through and then Blizzard kind of forgets about mech versus Protoss, and we don't hear about it until BlizzCon, and then they say, oh, we're gonna buff mech. They change one thing and then forget it till the next BlizzCon. So mech versus Protoss is not viable, which is something I love playing, and you were kind of forced to play Bio against Protoss all the time, and not many options either. So to continue this, why did I quit Terran? Over the years, I felt that Terran was the most fun race to play. You had so many openings. If you played against Zerg, let's say about 2 years ago, you had the 3 racks opening with Reapers, you had the proxy barracks, you had the CC first, you had Reaper expanding to 2-1-1, you had the Hellbat pushes, you had the medevac drops, the Liberators, the Banshees, all kinds of builds, and even if you didn't like certain playstyle, you could always do something else that kind of suits you. As the time passed, we've seen 3-Rax Reaper become more and more popular until Blizzard has decided that it was OP. Now, I'm not going to argue, this video is not about balance, I'm not going to argue whether that strategy was or wasn't balanced. The most disappointing thing for me was when Blizzard decided to completely ruin 3-Rax Reaper and literally remove that build and then playstyle from the game. And this is something that's been happening with Terran over the years, where every time Terrans figure out a timing, a build order, a proxy build, whatever, Blizzard just, instead of adjusting it so it's not as strong, they just slap it down and it completely gets shut down from the game. Now, I remember after 3-Rax Reaper is gone, 2-1-1 was the build that Zergs learned how to defend over time, so the only thing you have left now to do is Reaper expand into Hellions, into either Banshee, Liberator, or a medevac. That's it. That's your whole build. You'll see very often that in pro games, Zergs don't even scout Terran because you don't really have options as far as builds go. And that is my #1 problem with Terran. Terran is so extremely limited to what it can do, and it feels like when you enter a game, your opponent knows what you're going to do already. You have like 1-2 options maximum, and he just needs to prepare for that. That's it. When you play the other 2 races, the options that you can do, for example, Protoss, you can do so many builds, from opening Robo, opening Twilight, opening Stargate, opening 3 Nexus, doing 6 gate, doing 8 gate all-ins, proxying, cannon rushing. You can just do a bunch of different things, and even if you open Robo or Twilight, you can go into, a War Prism, a Colossus, a Disruptor. You can go into Blink, you're going to charge at Depthclaves, DTs. It just feels like, it felt like it was a more fun race, and when I did switch to playing more Protoss, that kind of confirmed it for me. You have many more possibilities. So even if you get bored in one thing, you can just, try something else. Instead of opening Blink, you could try, I don't know, rushing DTs for a while. With Terran, you don't really have that option. You're doing same thing over and over every game. You're just repeating your build, and you're just kind of trying to perfect it. But as you go up the ranks, you'll realize that the opponents are also better against it, so you need to get better against it, but you can't really stray too much from that build, and it just feels boring. It feels like work. It feels like a chore to do some of the things you have to do as Terran, and it's just not fun, which is my second problem with Terran. It is not fun. The only fun thing that Terran has are the nukes, and nukes are so rare and so hard to use that it's just, most of the time, it's just not worth the investment, sadly. Back to the first point that I made, the limitations and playstyles. We have seen Ravens come out about a year ago, and it became a very popular strategy to go mass Raven. So that was something Terrans were excited about. Now I can go into the late game. Now I can contest Zerg in the late game, Protoss in the late game with Seeker missiles. And again, instead of changing a little bit, nerfing it a little bit, increasing the energy cost, something, Blizzard just straight up completely removed the usefulness of Raven in the late game as far as splash goes. And that would be fine if they left any kind of AoE or added any kind of AoE in Terran army, but they didn't. They just didn't. Terran has no splash in the late game. When you compare it to the other races like Protoss, Storm, Disruptors, Colossus, Zerg has Infestors, Parasitic Bombs. I don't know if you want to count Lurkers in there, but they have very, very powerful spells, which Blizzard never addressed, never thought they were a problem. But the moment Terran started amassing Ravens, it got slapped down very quickly, and they completely redesigned the role of Raven, which, again, I don't mind if they compensated it with something, like a Thor getting a huge splash ability, just so you can contest the other two races as far as the splash goes. But again, just like with the 3-rank Reaper treatment, the mass Raven strategy is gone, and it's just not used. You'll see people make Ravens sometimes, but most of the time we're kind of back to Stone Age, where we have to kill our opponents before they reach the late game. And that's part number 3 of why I quit Terran and why a lot of other people are quitting Terran. We've seen a couple of Pro Terrans, Semi-Pro Terrans quit as well, and they might have said reasons, I have to go study, I have to do this, but I've talked to most of those guys, and they are quitting Terran for the same reasons that I'm talking about now. The third reason is you're kind of forced with Terran to do certain things, starting from the build order to what playstyle you will go for, aka bio in TVP, to kind of having a timer on your gameplay, and it's basically you will either kill Protoss or Zerg up until this moment, or you might as well leave the game because you simply don't have late game units. If you compare Protoss late game units, Carrier, Tempest, High Templar, Archon, to Terran late game units, Raven, Battlecruiser, Ghost, they're not even close. Protoss units are just straight up better. If you compare Ghost, Raven, Thor, Battlecruiser to Viper, Infestor, Broodlord, Corruptor, again, it does not come close. The Zerg units are much better, and a huge part of that is the splash damage that those other two races have. So you'll see a lot of, even in pro play for the past, I don't know how long, in TVP, people still do 2-base all-ins against Protoss, and a lot of people are like, oh, why do they do that? It's probably the best build. It is the best build, but not for the right reasons. It's not the best build because, oh, this has the highest % win rate because the build is good. It's because the longer the game goes, your win rate percentage just drops off severely as you're approaching 200 supply. Same thing with Zerg. You'll see huge parade pushes, and ever since the Raven change, the TVZ win rates in the late game have been going down quite a bit. Again, shout out to Maru for still winning games. Yeah, a lot of people, now that I brought up Maru, a lot of people will say, oh, just play like Maru. That is not the point. I think, again, I don't know if I've said this in this video. This is the second time I'm recording, but Terran is, in my opinion, the best race when microed properly, because the units have the most micro potential. But if you're not Maru, if you're not Innovation, Terran, in my opinion, is the worst race, but not for the balance reasons, but because of how many things and what you need to do in order to win a game against the other two races. And most of the losses you have just don't really feel deserved. I've had games very often where I feel like I'm outplaying my opponent. I feel I'm playing better. And then I don't pay attention to my army, and they get stormed, they get fungled, and I lose the game. How many times did you have, a game against Zerg where you're moving 20 goes, they get fungled, and banelings roll in and you lose the game? I had a lot of those. So, yeah, I don't know what a fix for this is. I just know that a lot of people that I know, whether they're my viewers or pro players, semi-pro players, they're considering quitting Terran and just completely giving up on it. And once they actually do, once they play another race like Protoss or Zerg, it's not like, oh man, I'm winning so much more. It's, I'm having so much more fun. Like, this doesn't feel frustrating. This doesn't feel like a chore. This doesn't feel repetitive. It feels fun. There's a lot more options, a lot more things you can do. But yeah, it's, I don't know, like I said, I don't know what solution I have for this. I tried to talk about this before, and people were just kind of like, you know what, you're balance whining, you should learn how to play. But it is not about that. It's about the fun. StarCraft is a game after all. It's supposed to be fun. And Terran is not fun, people. It is not fun. Thank you guys for watching. Let me know, what do you think in the comments if you're a Terran player, if you're having same feelings as I did before and as I do now about Terran race in general, or if you're not a Terran player, let me know what you think. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys next time. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to like and subscribe, and make sure to check out one of my previous videos. As always, I want to thank you guys for watching. Have a very nice day, and I'll see you guys next time.